Hi everybody, Jonathan Reeves here with another Vectorworks video, and today we're going to look at part 2 of this tutorial to power up your productivity. Now if you haven't seen the first video, I do suggest you watch that one. That will show you how to get started on this tutorial and where to download the file from. But in this one we're going to learn how to add furniture, work with things like textures and materials, and then look at creating some really nice renderings using viewports and some really nice little tips on how to enhance those as well. So let's get started on this next part of the video. So just before we get started on the tutorial, I just wanted to take the opportunity to show you my website with the new library packs that we've been working really hard on. There's some really nice new texture packs and image fill packs, and as ever there's some nice things like furniture. The people libraries, that's a free one actually, so this is a free one for you all if you'd like to visit. There's a couple of other ones like the free sample textures as well. So do check these out. These save a lot of time and we've worked really hard on them. They're definitely really there to increase your productivity. So adding furniture is something that, I think is a really nice, fast thing to do, to add lots and lots of detail to your model. The thing that takes the longest is often sourcing and finding all this furniture. So this is where my JRA furniture libraries come in. These are things that I've kind of selected and built up over time. Now many of these were actually things that I've imported from SketchUp, the SketchUp warehouse. Vectorworks does actually come with a good library, but there's not everything that I require in there. So I'm quite happy to kind of go into, say, SketchUp warehouse and actually basically enhance my models. Let's just drop in this nice little kind of 2D bench feature here. This is going to be a bit like a tree pit. Just drop those there for now. We might need to move those a bit later on. Cool. Okay, we'll pop back into resources and let's add some internal furniture now. We've done a little bit of stuff outside, so we'll do Command R. We'll just go down to chairs. So the JRA chairs library, pop into the folder here. You can see there's some really nice high quality symbols. And the good thing is these are 3D and 2D as well, with a couple of little tricks up their sleeve I'll show you in a minute. But very easy to add to your file, so just double click when you want them and drag them off with the Alt key if you want to, and then Command D to duplicate. Okay, so let's have a look. We'll add a couple of office chairs as well. Double click those here. You can see at the moment I've got snap to grid on, so they're all snapping onto the grid, so that's quite nice and easy to place these objects. Here's some sofas that I've collected from, again, SketchUp Warehouse, all imported into Vectorworks. But the good thing is they're more than just SketchUp models imported. As you can see, we've done a really nice job at cleaning up the graphics. So what you've got is a nice clean 2D graphic, a nice 3D model, okay, which has come through with the materiality as well. Okay, that one there I can see a little problem. So I just need to double click sometimes into those. Because I obviously haven't fixed that one up completely correctly, I can just raise it up so it sits on the floor level. I think the majority of them I did that already in the symbol, but maybe I missed that particular one, but it's no big deal. Okay, so we'll pop down, we'll go for a few tables this time, and there's some nice little selection of about 10 or 12 tables in here. Have a little coffee table just in this area here. We'll turn the grid off for a bit, I think, just while we place that. And let's double click and basically put in a couple of side tables here. Yeah, that's good. You can see how useful the grid is in terms of positioning those. So I don't normally use the grid, but there are some kinds of projects and types of buildings, with this being one of them, where the grid makes a lot of sense. And it's something that you can turn on and off as needed. Okay, so we're moving on a bit into the furniture. You can see how fast this process is. We're moving on to the JRA TV library now. Got a few nice TVs and media units here. I'll say the good thing about this technique is you can kind of use your own personal taste. We'll just pop the grid off so we can place that exactly where we wanted it there. That's good. And we'll double click a TV. For this, what we'll do is we'll pop it into 3D view. Double click this one just so we can actually place it by automatic plane. And that means we'll be able to place it directly on that top surface there. Double click. Excellent. Now I can see that I think I just need to select the media unit and the telly. Just rotate that round. Yeah, it's looking good. And also do the same trick again. Just hold the B key down, grab the bottom and just snap it up to floor level. We'll do the same with the TV here. So useful because you can see what I'm doing is basically clicking through the doors using the B key, ignoring the doors completely when I'm modelling. Instead of having to turn those off or get a different view, I can just work through them as if they're invisible. Okay, so we're just going to carry on exploring a few more of these libraries. There's another library of chairs here. Don't think I need any of those particular ones. So I'll go to desks. We've got a JRA desks library, and there's some nice little desks in here. Again, these are ones that I've used before, and that's the beauty. Because I've used them before, I generally like them. So I know I'm happy to use these in my projects. That's the thing that I find takes so long, is actually searching and finding the content. You know, once you've got it and you've got it to hand as a library and it's available in your favourites, it's super productive, super efficient. So we're dragging a couple of other things just to kind of finish this this little design we're doing here. Just dragging a rug here, just pop that in, and again trying to get this snapping in the right place. Double click, rotate it round. Now the good thing with things like these elements here, as I say, you can easily send them forward and backwards, change the drawing order, but you can also scale them. So things like a rug, it doesn't really matter too much if I just want to scale it. Symmetrical scaling by say 2, just to make it sort of twice as big, and then we can just snap it back where we wanted it on our designs. We'll just bring those chairs forward, select that one, bring those forward, and also the sofa as well. Okay, now one really nice little trick that I've created with the majority of my furniture libraries and things, I will show you in a second. I'm just dragging a couple more elements here. Okay, so we'll just drag those in against the wall here. We'll use M for mirror, and we'll just mirror those across. One more, I think. And we'll just basically shove those over on that wall again. Now, when you have a quick look in 3D, if it's not quite what you were looking for, the real beauty of symbols is you can just click Replace. Okay, when you replace, you can then select from anything in your library. So it's really, really rapid if you've got a few different styles that you like the look of. Just so you can go through, just navigate back to that particular library, and don't forget when you open this up, it can be a bit confusing. So sometimes just hide the premium libraries and the Vectorworks libraries, and focus on your favourites. These are your libraries, your content that you build up. Now, if anyone would like to get hold of these libraries, they're all available on my store, on my website. So very pleased if you'd like to have a look at that. There's actually a few really nice free ones for you, nice free people pack, and also some textures as well. So definitely go and visit and get the free ones, and while you're there, why not snap up a few others as well. Okay, brilliant. So you can see it's quite a quick process adding things like high quality furniture to your designs. The real trick is just to have it available and kind of know what you're looking for and where to find it quite rapidly. Some really nice libraries here of things like storage as well. So let's just pop a few of those into the design. So we're not too carefully thinking about the interior design at this stage, but it's looking good. Okay, so there they are in 3D. Now, a really nice little trick I want to show you is if you go to the classes, there's 2 levels of graphics. So if you turn off the top graphic and enable the render graphic, what you actually get with these is a really nice, sort of almost like photorealistic, illustrative type render. So we've got the graphical render for more kind of 2D drawing, but we've also got the photorealistic sort of top plan render for kind of floor plan graphics, really. Okay, so I'm really happy with that so far. It's coming on. We're just going to do a few extra moves. So I've added a few extra bits like the paving using the same techniques. Now what I'm going to do is go and add some Heliodons, and I've got a Heliodons file which I normally open up, and the good thing with this is it's like a little Heliodons rig. So it's got 4 Heliodons in, all preset, so I can copy those, go back to my project, and when I go to top plan view I can paste these in. The real beauty with my Heliodons file is that all of these are classed up. So you'll see how this works. We'll go to top plan, create a new layer. Now always make a new layer for your lighting. It's always a really good idea to have lighting in a separate layer, because there are times when you're modelling you just want to turn it off completely. So when I click and I paste, all 4 of those Heliodons are going to drop in. I'll just rearrange the position very slightly. Not that the position actually matters. It's more of a directional light, so the position doesn't really matter, just the direction. Now if I put it into 3D, everything is going to be very washed out at the moment. So I'll get my visibility tool and you can see that I can zap or turn off those other heliodons, easier to see them in plan. And now when I look in 3D, it will look really nice with some nice sort of shadows and sort of bit more lighting on the model. So that's all you need to do, just enable the shadows in the OpenGL settings, pop in a Heliodon, and basically you're away with some nice looking graphical shadows. Okay, so what we're going to do now is basically enhance our model for the final few steps before we go and create some viewports. So I'm going to pop down and drag in some people. I've got a really nice little library of image props here. Now these are photorealistic people, but they're image props, so what they do is actually face the camera. So whatever direction you're looking, they'll always look straight at you, and that's really, really handy because they're great for things like elevations. They don't tend to work in plan because they're only 2D, but you'll see how this works. When I change the view, those people will kind of respond to correspondingly rotate. That's the really nice thing with the image props. You can also see we've added some of the nice VB trees. Now we're going to go ahead and create some multiple viewports for this particular part of the exercise. I'm going to select a number of the different views. When I click OK, it will take a second or two to process, but essentially it's generated all of those views from a single click. So I'm just going to pop into the page setup and expand my paper size, give myself 3 by 2 bits of A3 paper, and that should be enough to create like a nice little kind of presentation area for my project. Fantastic, so looking good. So we'll kind of just rearrange the order of these slightly. Move that one there. We're going to go to change the rendering to OpenGL, click update, and that should basically render pretty quickly with the shadows and things on. Okay, so let's do the same with this one. We'll move that one to there. We'll just kind of go to OpenGL once again. Click update. Now when you're working in low resolution like I am at the moment, this is only 72 dpi. The quality will not be very good, but the speed is good. So when you're doing kind of layout based operations, don't worry about the quality for now. We can come back and sort that easily in a second, as you'll see. So we'll go ahead and click update. And then the beauty of OpenGL, as I say, it just takes a couple of seconds to render those out at this stage. And they should look pretty good. What you will notice is though, because the elevations, some of them are being a bit darker. So for example, what we need to do on this one is have a look at the view. This is the right view. Go to classes and simply enable the correct Heliodon. So turn the Heliodon right on and the other one's off. Zoom in a bit there, click update, and you'll see dramatic difference will be this one will be now lit properly because the Heliodon is actually facing the model. So just do double check that all of those, the front one should be fine because that had the front Heliodon on anyway, and that one probably just needs go classes, that's the left view, so we just need to pop down to our Heliodons, turn on the left Heliodon and turn the others off, click OK. Click update. Now you'll see the shadows actually probably go a slightly different direction. There we go. That's looking good. Okay, a final little technique that we can do is to brighten all of these viewports. So I'm going to select them all, and all in one click I can go to lighting options and brighten the overall layer brightness. While I'm here, one of my favourite little tricks I've talked about many a time is the ambient occlusion. So I'm just going to put this on, and then finally I'm just going to go into my sheet DPI now that I've done some of the drafts and crank this up to say 300. So that's my final quality of rendering. Now watch the difference between this resolution and the next one. When I click update, now this time it will take a few seconds longer to render. Do bear in mind every time you double the resolution you quadruple render time, but because the OpenGL is pretty fast anyway, it shouldn't take too long and will look dramatically different. So there we go, there's the new render. You can see it's brighter because of the lighter settings. We've got the ambient occlusion on and there's a lot more resolution and quality there, and that looks really, really nice both on the plans and elevations as well. So I'm really, really happy with this little design. I've got a nice set of coordinated drawings coming together of my project, and it's been done, you know, in 30 minutes or so. Okay, so we just need a couple more drawings to finish this off. For this one I'm going to use my Clip Cube, which is one of my favourite tools to demonstrate and use. I absolutely love the Clip Cube. It's such a great way to understand your designs and really explore the internal and external space. So basically you can just click and basically slide the section through. And when you're happy, you can right click and create a section viewport from the red face there. Basically, we're going to go through and set that to OpenGL. I'm also going to set that to land on the same sheet of my other presentation, and it kind of processes really, really quickly. You can see, because it was OpenGL, it's actually faster than Hidden Line. So there's my little section. We'll just pop that over there, just get that one there, and we'll just move those elevations across a little bit there. Fantastic. Okay, so let's focus on the section just for a second. I'm going to zoom into that section, Command 6, and basically have a quick look at a couple of things. So the very first thing is I want to put it into perspective. Perspective sections are one of my absolutely favourite kind of drawings, and you'll notice that you can play around with the custom depth, and that will give you more or less perspective. I'm also going to pop into the section and turn on all of the construction detail that might be in this project, even at this very early stage. And finally, I'm just going to tweak the lighting settings, like we did with the elevations. And we're going to go ahead and click update and see how this section looks. Yeah, it's all good. Just checking my layers and classes there. We'll click update. Within a few seconds, we'll have a really nice looking perspective section. Now that really reveals an awful lot about the design and how it relates to its external spaces. So you can see our presentation is now complete. We've also got a little top plan there. So what we're going to do now is show you how to really enhance your elevations an extra level further. Now, a great little tip here is I've created some really nice image fill files. Again, these are available on the store, and you can see I'm just going to kind of open this one up. So I'll right click and open. I love the fact you can just quickly open the file and steal things from it instead of actually going through resources. Now here is the image pack 2, which is a lovely little file, and the good thing about this particular one is it actually has not only 120 very high quality textures, very similar to the RenderWorks textures, but these are just purely 2D textures, or image files rather. So what it means is you can use these in your drawings as opposed to actually having to use 3D textures. And here is an example drawing that I created just for fun of some of the kind of textures. Now I thought it would be nice to steal a few of the resources from here. So I'm just holding shift down and grabbing a few of these. Let's just get the ground as well. I'm going to copy them, go over to my layer, double click into my viewport so that I can get into the annotations, of course. So do remember that annotations are not just for dimensioning, annotations are also for things like graphical resources. So you can basically paste those in. I'll just update the class visibilities. Let's move them out of the way for a second. And now you can see I've got these really nice sets of resources. This sky, for example, I can drag in, just align it there, put it behind the viewport in a second. Let's just drag in some birds, a few other bits of entourage. What I'll do actually, I'll just put that in using a new rectangle. We'll click 4, drop that in, use the eyedropper tool to match the attributes. And with a little tip like this, if you convert to a polygon, you can now turn off the edges with the Reshape tool. So that's a really nice little tip to turn off those edges. You still get the fill and you get the heavy line for the ground line. Just dragging a couple of extra trees that I didn't have in my 3D, but these are high quality 2D graphics, and Vectorworks does have an awful lot of these available. So just search for those. And it's starting to look really nice. Just stretch that across a tiny bit more. So I think I'll kind of get rid of everything else. That's all I needed. Back out into my viewport, and we'll turn off the warning lines. You can see it's a bit washed out, and I think I remember that the sky was in front, so send that to the back. But you know, what a difference, just putting in a few bits of entourage, some nice sky, maybe a few extra people and trees and cars, some ground sort of line, just playing around with those symbols and the opacity on those as well. And all of this is lovely because it's just nice and easy sort of 2D drafting skills. So this is where the image packs come in. You get some nice sort of resources as well within that file that you can use. Okay, so you can see graphically, I've really enhanced this particular elevation in no time at all. So you could do that on the others as well with a bit of time, but it's really just to show you, I suppose, a kind of complete presentation process. So I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. I've certainly enjoyed making it. And it's really all about showing you how to be as productive as you can and power up your productivity by kind of using workflow, but more importantly, assembling good libraries of walls and doors and slabs, resources like furniture, textures, trees, people, cars, all these things that most projects will consist of, but then also having those wonderful architectural fills and textures to actually kind of really enhance your projects. So if you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to give me a like and subscribe to get the next ones. And we'll look forward to seeing you in the next videos. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye bye.